So yesterday, Elon Musk took his son X to a press conference. I did not name the child. And I don't want to hear any more mess about our names, okay?
Elon Musk now being a special government employee, which means he has top security clearance, but he doesn't have the obligations that a full federal employee has, so he doesn't have to give the same amount of disclosures. He has less conflicts of interest. And it seems to me that when I put my legal hat on, what Donald Trump is trying to do is he's trying to expand the powers of the executive branch.
Political influence abroad, quote, insane, along with another word we can't repeat here. But what's your take on his political access and influence here in America right now?
Well, Elon, his private sector work, has been very innovative, really fantastic. A lot of private sector people, when they get into government, they don't take the time necessarily to see what the good work is or why it's structured the way it is.
What? Including a lot of Democrats, say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way.
The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally.
I know, I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's,
It's nice the way he said that, There's something nice about it.
It really is.
Elon called me, he said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely.
He's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more than
support.
that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Fascinating to me is I think that there's sort of this narrative that Elon Musk is the shadow president and Donald Trump is kind of taking a backseat. I actually, knowing Donald Trump, see it very differently. I think he loves that the wealthiest man on the planet is essentially an unpaid staffer for him. But where I think that this relationship could end up breaking down the road is that Donald Trump was elected on some very clear things. Bring down the cost of living, bring down the cost of groceries, secure the border. It was not gutting entire federal agencies, maybe making it harder to get your VA benefits.
Is Elon Musk finally done putting up with the media? The Tesla and SpaceX boss just dropped an $80 million lawsuit on Whoopi Goldberg and the hosts of The View. He's accusing them of spreading lies and false claims about him on air. But this lawsuit isn't just about one episode or one spicy comment. It could actually change how celebrities push back when they feel targeted by the media. So what's really going on? Let's dive in.
His net worth has increased $64 billion, or nearly 25%. So, yeah, I'm going to say, you want to cut something? Cut some of the stuff you're taking out.
Yeah.
Because, I get that there's fat everywhere, and yes, we'd all like to see less of it.
To your point, Whoopi, about all these government contracts, the billions of dollars that his companies have, his 6 companies have with the U.S. government, what is also very interesting is the cutting that he has done with the federal agencies. Those very same agencies have 32 continuing investigations, complaints, or enforcement actions against his companies.
So last night, Sean Hannity aired his sit-down with the world's most powerful man, and the president was there too. In a co-interview, Elon Musk and Trump talked about their relationship and tried to squash any rumors that there's trouble in paradise. Watch.
I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it.
Oh, they should have aired this on Valentine's Day.
Fully public. So if you see anything, you say, wait a second, hey, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately.
Well, I think that's what you do when you have no plan for the public. When you have no economic plan that's going to benefit the middle class, when you have no plan to protect reproductive rights, when you have no plan to address climate change and produce American energy, you go to these type of tactics. It's all about distraction.
There's a concept of a plan.
Yeah.
Aren't these tactics against the law, though? Aren't you?
Well,
because
it all started when The View aired a segment where Goldberg reportedly suggested that Musk and Senator J.D. Vance were secretly plotting to take over the government if Donald Trump got kicked out of office. Yeah, it's that wild.
As I believe, Elon Musk is the actual vice president.
You've said that,
And yes, I believe that, because I think that J.D. Vance, he's kind of an interim, but I believe that
Musk.
Musk is he's the real actual vice president. He's making decisions, he's doing things. So I think, why doesn't he have to give up X with everything he's done?
Musk's lawyers quickly jumped in, saying those claims had zero proof and they were way out of line. They believe the remarks made him look bad and could fuel conspiracy theories that seriously hurt his image. But they're not just thinking about Musk here. His legal team says these kinds of reckless statements are a bigger problem. They think they stir up public distrust and create drama that isn't needed. Basically, Musk's side is saying this kind of over-the-top media drama doesn't belong in today's world, especially when it targets well-known people and reaches huge audiences. To Musk, it's not about personal pride, it's about calling out what he sees as a serious lack of accountability in the media space. And guess what? A lot of people are backing him. His supporters say this isn't just about Elon, it's about pushing back against biased reporting and loud opinions that go unchecked. They see the lawsuit as a bold move to finally demand some fairness.
I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know what JD is doing. I hardly ever. I don't remember the last time we even talked about JD.
You're right. He's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
So you think it's Musk Vance?
Possible.
That on-air exchange, it's one of the key reasons Musk took this to court. The lawsuit seems to be Musk's way of sending a loud message to the media. Even celebrities and TV personalities need to be careful with what they say. His supporters see him as standing up for the truth, not just for himself, but to demand better standards across the media world. But not everyone agrees with that take. Critics think this move might be more about silencing people than seeking justice. They say there's a huge gap in power here, a billionaire going after a daytime talk show host, and that's got people worried. If someone with that much money can easily sue over criticism, it might scare others into staying quiet, and that could seriously hurt free speech, especially when it comes to tackling hot-button issues. So now, there's a bigger question in the air. Is Musk doing this to clean up journalism, or is he using his wealth to shut down voices he doesn't like?
Trump, hypersensitive. How dare you say something like this about me, okay? Hypersensitive. Who else do you know that's hypersensitive? Think about the people you know that are hypersensitive, but they have the ultimate trifecta. Hypersensitive, confident, and driven, okay?
Tiger Woods. Don't say nothing about him or his coach when he was at his playing peak.
I know, there you go, him as well. So Rogan is hypersensitive, he's secure, and he's driven. You don't have to make this guy work. Who just did the biggest podcast in the history of mankind?
Elon and Trump on
Elon
Space.
Musk has officially done the biggest podcast in the history of mankind. Ever. It's done. He broke the record.
Yeah.
Okay? 1 billion views. He put the number up. You understand what that means?
Yeah.
So guess what? Joe doesn't now have to worry about anybody saying, you helped Trump get elected. Now Joe can just go and do it and say, well, you must did it. I'm just doing a regular podcast.
His fans think he's trying to hold the media accountable for spreading lies, but others are nervous about what this kind of legal pressure could lead to. At the heart of it all is a tricky balance, media freedom versus personal responsibility. Sure, Goldberg's comments were bold, but shows like The View have always leaned into opinion-based commentary. Critics say Musk's lawsuits might blur the line between holding people accountable and just scaring them into silence. For Musk's camp, though, this lawsuit isn't only about defending his name. They believe it's about setting a new standard, one where reckless claims finally come with real consequences. To them, this is about more than Elon. It's a bigger fight for truth in an age where misinformation spreads fast and loud voices dominate.
Elon Musk now being a special government employee, which means he has top security clearance, but he doesn't have the obligations that a full federal employee has, so he doesn't have to give the same amount of disclosures. He has less conflicts of interest. And it seems to me that when I put my legal hat on, what Donald Trump is trying to do is he's trying to expand the powers of the executive branch. We all know, or we should know in this country, that there are 3 co-equal branches of government. You got
Who are they, Sonny?
Okay, so you've got the judicial branch, you've got the executive branch, and you've got the legislative branch. The legislative branch is the branch that Sarah was just talking about, which is Congress, right? So you've got the House and Senate, power of the purse. What he is trying to do is trying to figure out how he can expand his power, the power of the executive branch, and have a little more power over Congress, and he certainly has kind of a bit of power over the judicial branch because the top of the judicial branch is the Supreme Court, which he has packed with loyalists. So in my view, I think he's causing a constitutional crisis intentionally so that this goes to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, say, yeah, he can do this, our Constitution, as we've known it, is basically going to change forever. It will not be the Constitution that the framers of our government, our country, thought of. Right.
And as the drama plays out, it's sparking even bigger conversations about media ethics, public responsibility, and what truth even means in today's world. Whether this ends in Musk's favor or backfires completely, one thing's for sure. This case is making people rethink the power of words, influence, and accountability.
But when you have deliberate, concerted, repeated pushing of hoaxes, you're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too far.
And you're supposed to be the good guys.
You're supposed to, and you claim to be the good guys? I'm like, exactly.
You're supposed to be the progressives.
Yes, the Dems are like, oh, we're the good guys. We're the honest people. No, hang on. You can't claim to be the good guys. You can't claim to be the honest people if you're deliberately pushing hoaxes that have been debunked thoroughly.
Yeah.
Well, we're like even Snopes, which is a liberal thing, says it's bogus.
Yeah.
Like the Fine People hoax.
Things really heated up on The View when Whoopi Goldberg made comments that, according to Elon Musk, hinted at him and Senator J.D. Vance being part of some secret plan to take over the government. Musk's lawsuit claims that those statements weren't just false, they were meant to stir drama and hurt his name. His legal team says the remarks didn't just cross a line. They pushed harmful conspiracy theories into the spotlight. They believe this kind of careless talk adds fuel to division and damages public trust, especially when it spreads without any real proof. But not everyone agrees with Musk's side. Critics say Goldberg's comments were taken out of context. They argue that The View is known for off-the-cuff opinions, not hard news, and that Musk might be blowing a typical talk show moment out of proportion. Goldberg's defenders think her statements were just part of the usual open conversations that happen on platforms like that, not personal attacks or efforts to spread lies. Meanwhile, Musk's supporters say that when someone has a huge platform like Goldberg does, there's a bigger responsibility to stick to the facts, especially when they're talking about powerful people. For them, this lawsuit is about more than Musk's image. It's a push for accountability in a media world where clickbait and drama often take center stage.
But what's your take on his political access and influence here in America right now?
Well, Elon, his private sector work, has been very innovative, really fantastic. A lot of private sector people, when they get into government, they don't take the time necessarily to see what the good work is or why it's structured the way it is. So I'm a little worried.
And let's be honest, this isn't Musk's first run-in with the media. Over the years, he's built a reputation for clapping back at coverage he thinks is unfair, whether it's through tweets, interviews, or now lawsuits. His followers see this case as just the next step in his long-standing fight against media bias. But on the other side, critics are sounding the alarm. They worry that if lawsuits like this become the norm, it might make people too scared to speak up. It could limit free speech, especially when it comes to challenging powerful figures.
As I believe, Elon Musk is the actual vice president.
You've said that.
And yes, I believe that because I think that J.D. Vance, he's kind of an interim, but I believe that Musk is he's the real actual vice president. He's making decisions, he's doing things. So I think, why doesn't he have to give up X with everything he's done? I know we gotta go.
Some people are worried this kind of lawsuit could set a bad example, where rich and powerful folks can just sue anyone who criticizes them into silence.
Well, I think that's what you do when you have no plan for the public, when you have no economic plan that's going to benefit the middle class, when you have no plan to protect reproductive rights, when you have no plan to address climate change and produce American energy, you go to these type of tactics. It's all about distraction.
There's a concept of a plan.
Yeah.
Aren't these tactics against the law, though? Aren't you?
Well,
But Musk's supporters don't see it that way. To them, this is about bringing some balance back between the media and the public figures. They think Goldberg's comments were careless and that it's time media personalities are held to higher standards when it comes to telling the truth. From their point of view, this isn't about shutting people up, it's about making sure there are real consequences for spreading false claims that hurts someone's reputation and causes more public confusion. Now that the case is out in the open, it's sparked a much bigger discussion. What role should the media play in shaping public opinion? And should big names like Musk be held accountable too? Whether this lawsuit ends up being seen as a bold move for truth or just another power play isn't clear yet. But one thing's for sure, it stirred the pot and brought issues like free speech, media responsibility, and billionaire influence into the spotlight.
I get that there's fat everywhere, and yes, we'd all like to see less of it. But what you're doing is a lot more than just cutting fat. You're giving people information that they should not have because they're not the people whose information it is.
Yeah.
So, and nobody elected you.
Yeah.
That's the part.
That's the main part.
Musk, of course, has never been quiet about his dislike for the mainstream media. He's called them out plenty of times for twisting facts and chasing clicks instead of doing solid reporting. Over the years, he's used his platforms to call out what he believes are constant efforts to misrepresent him and his companies. His fans think this lawsuit is just another step in his long fight to push back against what they see as dishonest media coverage. On the flip side, his critics think there's more to it. They say even if Musk claims it's about justice, these legal moves could end up hurting free speech in the long run.
Okay, I need to clean something up because my cat lays in wait for me on my stairs all the time. That's what I was thinking of that. I wasn't trying to indicate that they were actually standing there with their legs out, hoping he would trip.
Behind all of this is a bigger argument about what role the media should actually play and how to balance free speech with responsibility. Musk's supporters think fake news and wild claims have real consequences. They say it ruins trust and hurts reputations. That's why they believe Musk is stepping up against a media culture that cares more about clicks and drama than telling the truth. To them, this lawsuit isn't just some rich guy defending his name. It's about setting a new standard for how information should be handled in public.
The shrews of The View couldn't sink any lower. They go and surprise you by mocking a cute little child. Apparently, Elon Musk's 4-year-old son, X, is fair game because Whoopi Goldberg has decided to mock his name.
Yesterday, Elon Musk took his son X to a press conference. I did not name the child. And I don't want to hear any more mess about our names, okay? Okay?
Oh.
Anywho, he took little X.
Funny. And little Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram.
He doesn't own Instagram. He just took little X with him to a press conference in the Oval Office.
You know what? X is an adorable name, and perhaps a grown woman who named herself Whoopi should refrain from mocking a 4-year-old for the name his parents gave him.
What started as a clash between Musk and The View has now blown up into something way bigger. It's no longer just about one show or one statement. It's a full-blown debate about media speech and power. Some say Musk is fighting for fairness, others see him trying to control the narrative. Either way, this lawsuit has pushed important questions into the spotlight. Supporters think it could finally bring some accountability to the media. Critics think it shows how easily the legal system can be used by the rich to shut people down. No matter which side you're on, one thing's clear: the outcome of this case could change how we talk, report, and express ourselves, especially in a world run by social media and nonstop news. This legal fight between Elon Musk and Whoopi Goldberg isn't just some random celebrity drama. It actually shows the bigger tension between public accountability and free speech. It's forcing people to take a step back and ask some tough questions. How much power should billionaires have? What's the media's role? And where does the public fit in all of this?
My point is, you can pay to get verified now. So now you're getting this information and you see the little blue check mark and you're thinking, oh, well, this is someone with gravitas, this is someone with education, this is someone with knowledge, and it could be someone sitting in their mama's basement just being a Twitter
How come I got a check and I didn't give them any money?
No, because you had
before, the old system.
This was before, that was the old system.
I was grandmothered in.
Yeah, he changed the system, and he's the one that then, in my view, ruined the company because now it's not only a hellscape, it's a hellscape of potential misinformation.
And didn't he pay?
One thing's for sure, this goes way beyond just two famous names. It could actually change how people think about what media figures can and can't say, especially in a time where everything feels so divided. Ever since the news broke, social media has been blowing up. Hashtags like #SupportElon and #CancelTheView are everywhere. The internet is totally split on this one. People who support Musk, especially those in the Trump-Musk camp, say this lawsuit is long overdue. They believe he's finally calling out the media for spreading false info and stirring up division. For them, this case isn't just about one TV moment, it's about challenging years of biased coverage and clickbait headlines. They also see it as a chance to go after big media outlets and push for something better, like real accountability and actual facts in journalism.
Point, Whoopi, about all these government contracts, the billions of dollars that his companies have, his 6 companies have with the U.S. government. What is also very interesting is the cutting that he has done with the federal agencies. Those very same agencies have 32 continuing investigations, complaints, or enforcement actions against his companies. Those are the agencies and the people that he is cutting. So all of it is inuring to his benefit. And what is really rich to me, again, is that he is not elected, and he is talking about our American democracy. A man who grew up in South Africa during the apartheid era, benefited from apartheid, and apartheid is the very antithesis to our American democracy, because in South Africa today, there is, 81% of South Africans' population are Black Africans, yet only 4% of those Black Africans own the land. So this is the person that's supposed to be teaching us about democracy.
But critics see it the other way around. They think Musk is taking things too far, and that this lawsuit could set a scary example. From their perspective, it's not about justice. It's about using money and power to shut people up. They argue that a healthy democracy needs debate. It needs people who aren't afraid to speak up, even when it means calling out someone rich or powerful. If lawsuits like this become normal, they say it could lead to a culture where people stay quiet out of fear. Right now, social media is basically a war zone, with both sides arguing nonstop in comment sections and threads. Musk's backers keep pointing to other times they believe the media crossed the line. They say this lawsuit is part of a bigger push to demand better, more honesty, more fairness, and less spin from public figures and journalists alike. As the drama keeps growing, more people are looking closely at The View and its history. The show is no stranger to controversy. It's known for fiery debates and bold takes that often lead to public backlash. Some say the show tends to go for viral sound bites instead of thoughtful discussions. And that, ironically, feeds into the same media habits Musk's supporters are pushing back against. Over the years, The View has made headlines, not just for its hot topics, but also for its on-air clashes and walk-back apologies after public criticism. This new lawsuit has only turned up the heat. It's put the spotlight back on the show's credibility and what kind of influence it really has on public opinion. And for The View, it's not just about fighting one case, it's about protecting their image as a space for bold but respectful conversations. Yes, the show has a solid fan base that enjoys its mix of humor, real talk, and politics. But at the same time, there's constant criticism that it sometimes crosses the line or leans too hard into division. That's exactly why this whole situation has people talking. Can a show be both entertaining and responsible, or is that line getting too blurry? Meanwhile, Musk supporters are sticking by him. They see this lawsuit as a major moment, a way to finally push back on what they believe is a media system that's been running wild without enough accountability. For them, it's not just about Musk's name being dragged, it's about making public figures think twice before saying something reckless on national TV.
He is not the president of the United States. He was not voted to be the president of the United States. He is not a federally elected official of any kind. He's not a Senate-confirmed officer of the United States, but he is, has this so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which in fact is not a federal executive department. So everything that he does is lawless, it's unconstitutional, and it has to be stopped.
And honestly, this legal fight has gotten way bigger than just Musk, Goldberg, or The View. Whether you think Musk is fighting for truth or just flexing his influence, one thing's obvious. This case could change how we think about the media and free speech for years to come. The View has been in hot water more than a few times. For years, critics have called the show out for chasing drama instead of facts. They say it focuses more on bold takes and viral moments than real balanced conversations. Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts have taken plenty of heat, especially for comments about well-known public figures. Some of those moments sparked huge debates about whether shows like this are helping or hurting public opinion, and whether they're using their platform responsibly. Now with Musk suing Goldberg, those old criticisms are back and louder than ever. Things got even messier when old clips of Whoopi resurfaced, interviews where she called Donald Trump a friend long before he got into politics.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add president of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
That's a big contrast from how she talks about him now. Musk supporters jumped on it, saying this flip-flop shows she changes her views when it's convenient, not based on principle.
Apparently, lots of Republicans are downplaying this. But you remember, back in the day, they had a much different response when they accused Hillary Clinton of a security breach. Take a look.
You most certainly know you shouldn't be talking about it or passing it on in an email. It's complete recklessness and incompetence.
People have gone to jail for 1/100th of what, even 1/1000th of what Hillary Clinton did.
Mishandling classified information is still a violation of the Espionage Act.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law.
Oh, this is hysterical.
So the question is he going to make good on this promise?
They believe that this kind of inconsistency makes her hard to trust as a public figure. And let's be real, this isn't the first time The View has been dragged for pushing one-sided takes or spreading questionable claims. Over the years, the show has built a rep for being bold and unfiltered, but not always careful with the facts. Whenever something controversial airs, social media lights up. Some people defend the host for keeping it real. Others say they've gone too far, and that the show needs to start taking accuracy more seriously. This whole controversy also brings up a bigger question. What role should TV talk shows really play in shaping how people think? The View has always branded itself as a place for open, unfiltered chats about politics, culture, and current events. And sure, that's earned them a loyal audience. But critics say the show often makes serious topics feel like entertainment, and that can sometimes do more harm than good. They say the mix of news and entertainment blurs the lines, making it harder for people to tell what's fact and what's just opinion. For Musk supporters, that's exactly why this lawsuit matters. They see it as a chance to call out that blurry line and hold media figures more accountable. When someone like Whoopi Goldberg makes strong claims on a big platform, they believe she should be held to a higher standard, especially if it could impact public opinion or hurt someone's name. They say Musk's legal move is forcing an important conversation. What responsibilities do big media shows have when they put information out there? No matter which side you're on, one thing's clear. This case shows how tense things are right now between public figures, the media, and the audiences watching it all unfold. It also shows just how tricky it's become to tell the difference between entertainment and real journalism. For The View, this isn't just a headline, it's another moment of public pressure in a time when media platforms are under the microscope more than ever. We still don't know how this case will play out. Maybe it ends with Musk proving his point. Maybe it backfires. But either way, it's already started a bigger conversation about how powerful voices use their platforms and how that shapes what people believe. Some critics say this whole thing is being blown out of proportion and that it's normal for people to change their opinions over time. Still, old clips and shifting views have stirred up even more debate about Goldberg's credibility and the show's integrity. Supporters of the lawsuit say this could be a turning point for media accountability. Maybe it sets a new bar for ethical journalism, one where facts come first and sensational stories get called out. But critics are still worried. They think lawsuits like this might shut people down and make open conversations harder to have. So what do you think? Is this a bold move to fight misinformation or a dangerous way to silence voices? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into today's biggest stories.